Hello everyone. So welcome to the PortSwagger Lab. So if you are trying to learn about like how bug bounty is done or how penetration testing is done for the web applications and for the mobile applications. So at the starting phase, it is very good practice to start with the PortSwagger Lab. So PortSwagger is online platforms which provide you lab for hands-on experience for the multiple type of attack. Okay, so basically, when talking about web applications, we have a different source of checklist like SQL injections, cross-site scripting, SSRF, CSRF, and then session hijacking, then login bypass. So for that, we need to understand like how the things or how the backend server work. Okay, for that, PortSwagger Lab is very suitable place. Okay, and in context of mobile applications, so mobile applications is also quite similar. Instead, all of the things which we did in the mobile applications using Bob Suite, it is also recommended like same thing is done over web app also. So in web, mobile and API penetration testing, what is the difference? So difference is only the environment setup. Okay. Uh, for API, we use Postman to trigger the request and capture the request in a Bob suits, and we perform the activity called penetration testings or cybersecurity assessment. And for that, for API, we need Postman, and like for web, we need browser. So all the activity is done in a browser, and the request is being sent to a Bob suit, and then in Bob suits we need to change the request and analyze the response, and based on that um, we find the vulnerabilities. Now, how to find vulnerabilities or bugs in any applications, and again in context of mobile applications, only the difference is the lab setup. So lab setup in sense like Frida server and mobile um, emulator setups and how to configure to redirect the request in a Bob suite. So that's all is another part. So you can check out my another videos in the playlist for the more information related to the mobile app and API. But again, here we are to discuss about how penetration testing is done or how offensive security is work. Okay, so in offensive security, basically we talks about how penetration testing is done, okay, or cyber security assessment is done, and in that we have a multiple checklist based on WASP top 10. So let me check the WASP top 10. So if we go through the WASP top 10 guidelines, okay, WASP have already categorized like broken access control, cryptographic failure, injections. So for the theoretical knowledge, we can have it here, okay. So what is broken access control and cryptographic failure? But when we go for the practicals and finding these bugs under any applications like web API and mobile, we again need to use the tool called Bob Suits, and we able to perform like how cryptographic failure is work or what is cryptographic failure. So cryptographic failure is like something where we are using weak ciphers or some encryption is very weak or some data or confidential data is encrypted in uh, base 64s, and weak encryptions method using weak encryptions method like hashing MD5 in MD5. So these all came under the um, cryptographic failure. Then again, when coming to the injections, we have SQL injection, then we have HTTP code injections, then we have cross-site scripting. So all these came into injections. Now we have to understand like, okay, how we can find the bugs called injections or SQL injections. So for that, again, okay, hence we have uh, it is very good to start with the PortSwagger lab, where all the labs has been categorized based on different category. Okay, So if you want to perform the labs related to SQL injections, okay. So just a second. So if you want to perform, if you want to know like how SQL injections work and how SQL injections testing is done, so for that we have a separate labs called SQL injections, and it include everything related to SQL injections, either it's time based and uh, or login bypass and everything. Okay. Then for no SQL injection, so if in database in a backend database is used like NoSQL injections, then that one also we can have a hands-on activity. So in this series of video, we will go through each and every topic, starting with the SQL injections and finishing it at the last labs called Web LLM. Okay, so it's basically for so Web LLM is basically related to a lab which is found in chat GPT type of AI type of or machine learning type of the products. Okay. Now again we have a CSRF, and we for the CSRF we have 49 labs. Again for API testings we have 29 labs where we can check for the GraphQL and all other vulnerabilities. Okay, for again we have a GraphQL vulnerabilities labs 29 lab, and then for cross origin resource sharing, so we might have to counter related to the course type of attacks. In that we have 21 labs and we can perform the activities. Okay, so I will first give you a walkthrough, and in the upcoming sessions we will see how we will solve the labs one by one. So here is vulnerabilities lab. If we after login, okay, go to the academy, and after that come down and click on view all labs. If you go to view all labs, we can see that all the labs has been categorized based on different category. Like starting with SQL, so we have appreciants, so for beginners, and then practitioners. If we get to know a little more about like how SQL injections work, then we can go through practitioners. And if we are good at practitioners, then we have something called experts labs. So in another sections is like cross-site scripting. In cross-site scripting, starting with apprehensions, we have practitioners labs, and we have experts labs. So experts labs is like we should have a deep knowledge regarding cross-site scripting, then we will be able to perform these attacks. And then in cross-site also, like we have reflected cross-site, stored cross-site, DOM based cross-site scripting. Okay. Similarly, like we have cross-site request forgery. So we have with no defense, CSRF with no defense, CSRF where a token validation depends on the request methods, CSRF where token is not tied with user sessions. So these all lab is here where we can have a hands-on practice. Then again we have a clickjacking. So in upcoming sessions we will see how to solve these clickjacking labs. Okay. Then we have DOM based vulnerabilities. Okay, so how to exploit the DOM based vulnerabilities, or where we can find. So this whole labs or this all vulnerabilities is like based on some particular type of page or some particular type of request or some particular type of request method. Okay, so SQL injections to retrieve data, we use get methods. For SQL injections to upload data, we use post methods. It should be like understand when like we can understand all these, or we can have a hands-on experience all these. Okay, so just for a reference, I will show the first lab which is called where. So where, using where clause. So basically where is a clause in SQL where we will from this term called where clause itself, it is revealing the word like if we use the where clause, then it is used to find some particular set of data from the database. Okay, so I have already solved it, but again I will try to help you like how to start. So click on the lab, go to the access lab. Now you need to select any category. So suppose I select pet category. Okay, now I have selected the pet category. Now I need to use where clause to retrieve a hidden data. Okay, in that conditions I will use a term like okay. So if we select a pet category, then we can see here in the browser we got a category equal to pets. So it's a parameterized. If we change this pet into lifestyle, it will change into lifestyle. So it seems like whatever we are inserting here, it is validating based on that. So suppose if we give SQL injections commands like or 1 equal to 1 is true, then pass all this. And if we hit enter, then we can see that our command is inserted. Okay, okay, and lab is already complete, so it's not showing solved, but if we insert it in the same way, it will be solved. So now what the conclusion of this lab is, like we are able to insert this logic of SQL injections to bypass. Okay, so in the further labs we will see using these logics how we will confirm that there is vulnerabilities of SQL injections or not, and how we can perform other tasks. So in upcoming sessions you might see is like here in the URLs, if we make changes and inject some other SQL queries, then it will get executed in a backend. So this lab basically help us to understand like how SQL code is executed in a backend server, or if SQL code is not executed in the backend server, then it will give us a error response or not found response or something else. But here is executed in this backend. So that's all for this lab. We will see in the upcoming sessions like how we are solving all other labs related to the SQL injections, and then later we'll move for the other part of testings and learning.